right, hey everybody, welcome back. 21 days of fasting and prayer. Today's day 16. I hope that you've been pressing in and processing through some things with the Lord. You know, the one thing that I find about this time is it is a time of consecration, setting yourself apart to the Lord. And it takes a while to get your mind on things above. It takes a while to reset your mind. And you find out how much of your time and your attention goes to satisfying your hunger, satisfying what brings you comfort, satisfying what you want. And when you're fasting, it reminds you, I got to put those things to death. I got to put on the new man. I've got to renew my mind, right? I've got to think different and act different and be different, because I'm not just fasting to get it over with. I'm fasting for some change. I want Jesus to do something so significant in my life that I don't return the way I came. I want to look at a scripture with you from Colossians chapter 3. And this is one of my favorite verses here. For me, over the years, it's encouraged me, it's strengthened me, it's helped me to focus, and it's really been something that the Lord has used to speak to me. Colossians chapter 3, verse 1, and I'll read it to you out of the Amplified Version. It says, "If then you have been raised with Christ to a new life, thus sharing his resurrection from the dead, aim at and seek the rich eternal treasures that are above, where Christ is, seated at the right hand of God. If then you have been raised with Christ, set your mind on things above, where Christ is." Look at that. Verse 2, "Set your mind and keep them on things that are above, the higher things, not on things that are on the earth." So what we have to do here, we have to set our minds. And I just love this, because that means there's a responsibility that we take, but it's an action that we take with our minds. You know, our minds aren't just subject to everything that comes our way. You have to think, man, are there thoughts in my mind that are taking up space that I can't seem to get past or get over? Maybe there's grief, regret, fear, worry, lust, desire, anger, unforgiveness, all of that stuff on the inside. If you're not careful, it'll reside there for as long as you let it. And so the scripture is telling us this: if you've been raised with Christ to a new life, then you need to seek the things that are above, where Christ is, seated at the right hand of God, and set your mind. You got to set your minds on things of above, not on the earthly things. That requires some muscle. It requires some pressing in. It requires some strength. Those things that are going on in your head, sometimes they take up free rent, right? It's like roommates or people who came over and they never left. Those thoughts get in your mind, and your job is to reset your mind. This is what renewing your mind truly is. And the Bible tells us that we're transformed by the renewing of our minds. In Romans chapter 12, 1 and 2, you're transformed by the renewing of your mind so that you can prove out what God's perfect, good, and acceptable will is. Otherwise, you'll be conformed to the world, and that's not what we're after. So he says, set your mind on things of above, where Christ is. For as the world is concerned, you have died, and your new, real life is hidden with Christ in God. So as far as the world is concerned, you're a goner. You're dead. You're a dead man. And your real life is a new life, and it's hidden with Christ in God. So now the life that I live, it's not my own. It's hidden in him. So it should look like him. It should be found in him. I should be found in him. And not only that, in my life, the way I live, but it starts with the mind. So verse 4 says, "And when Christ, who is our life, appears, then you will also appear with him in the splendor of his glory." So if you have been raised to life, seek things that are above, where Christ is. And don't set your mind on earthly things, on the worries, the pains, the struggles, the past, the regret. Don't set your mind on all those things. Set them on Christ. But it's your responsibility to do the setting. When you're fasting, your mind can wander, but fasting reminds us, press in, reset, focus on Jesus. I hope that helps you. I'll be right back with you tomorrow. God bless.